Welcome back, everybody. We got Austin. We're about to sit down and dive right into all the experiences he's had here and all the people he's met and the relationships he's built and how he's even bringing on families, generations of hunters from families out here to the 1024. Let's get into it. You're good. It's just a conversation.
I'm sweating my ass off.
All right, so we're going to keep it simple, man.
All right.
Hunting.
Yeah.
Fishing.
Yep.
Hunting birds, hunting deer, hunting exotics. Y'all can do it all here.
All of it. All
Right.
of it. Yep. World-class whitetail.
Oh, for sure.
Amazing exotics. One thing that is cool, to me at least, that we do here is you're not going to get anything out in front of you that is not a trophy. You don't get the option to shoot anything that's not a trophy. So what you see is a trophy.
Yeah.
And that's species to species. It's all the same. And that's what's really cool to me is you're not going to shoot a immature, elk at whatever. You're going to wait for him to get that, 350, 400 inch bull.
Yeah, absolutely.
At, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old if you're lucky. So I think it's really cool that we wait on a lot of our exotics and everything.
Yep. And there's some toads out here, man. Just full-blown toads.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them we've got photos and videos of for years now, because like you're saying, we're going to let them get mature before we allow a hunter to come out and take an animal. And because it's respect to the game itself.
A lot of these guys that come out year after year, they get to see some of these animals grow, and hey, last year that sucker was real big. Now he's real big, And so it kind of, those return guys, it gets them excited and everything, because in 3 years they'll be here in 3 years.
Yep.
He's on that waiting list for that guy right there. So I think that's kind of cool. You get to watch a deer, exotic, elk, whatever the 9 yards is there, and watch him grow year after shooting whatever. So I think it's pretty cool on that.
Y'all have a ton of return hunters.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
So out of all the places I've either hunted or worked or wherever, this place is very, very unique in the sense of the environment that we put off. Meaning, for an example, whenever I was hired, the one thing that really set it off for me, and I knew this place was something special with Larry and Colette, is that they said, this is not your 9 to 5. We are a family.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you may be working 12, 16-hour days. You need something, you can call us like a friend, a family member.
Yep, absolutely.
If you're not eating Thanksgiving dinner with your family or friends or whatever, you come over.
You will be.
You come over.
Right here.
Come over and eat.
Yeah.
Christmas, it doesn't matter. They're always there, and
big family operation here.
It is.
Sure,
it is,
man.
and even as much as the other guys might not want to tell you this, we're all pretty close, and I wouldn't say we hang out with each other outside of work because there's not a whole lot of time outside of work.
Yeah.
But if I need something on my personal life, I can call Adam or Isaac and Richard, and if I need something truck-wise, or maybe I'm moving houses, Galen's helped me out in the past.
Yeah.
And so it's all a very tight-knit group here, and I like that. It's a different environment when you can talk to someone and really get on a personal level and be outside of the corporate job.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that the hunters and the clients feel that energy from you guys of being so close and being like a family, because no one sees anybody arguing. Nobody's bickering about anything. Everybody is even keel. If there's a problem, we're going to collectively figure it out. We're going to solve it. There's been nights, I don't know how many times hunters are prepared to do something with you guys. They've booked it, right? We're here, tomorrow we're going to do this. Well, they might wake up the next morning and I've had a change of heart. I want to do something else. And y'all can adapt to that immediately, because it's no hard feelings. It's whatever you guys want to do, that's what we're going to do.
And that's kind of, for me and Adam, I can say, and Isaac, we have almost a switch. There's a work switch and then the people switch. When you show up, and whether you want to do fishing all day, all the way to, exotics or whatever, we turn a switch from that manual labor kind of work and and managing part of it to whatever you need. It's all on personal basis, personal needs. You know, if a kid shows up, he's never touched a gun before, we're going to go over there, we're going to shoot. I'm going to make him confident in himself. So then when we get out there, the last thing he's thinking about is, you know, I don't know if I can hit that deer, you know, so.
Well, even like families when they come in, like today, right? Like you had a guy come in here, right? That's been hunting with you for years. He's been bringing his son, and then he brought a second son.
Yep.
And then probably going to bring a third son.
Next year will be the third.
Yeah, so it's crazy, like the relationships that y'all build with people, and same with me, right? Like I know you. We have a relationship. And if I'm going to go hunting and I need somebody to help me, because I might only get one weekend out of the year to do this, I'm calling you.
Yeah.
And we're going to take my son, and I fully plan on like you helping me get this this animal, and if we got to walk it down to how we operate this gun, the safety behind it, why we do it a certain way, the way we get out there, all that stuff matters, man. And you're showing people all your skill set, but in a manner where it's respectful, nice, everybody's having a good time. It's different for sure.
To backpack off that, you know, we adjust to people's skill level. Like I was saying before, those children, some of them have, you know, they've never shot a gun or they've never shot over 50 yards, you know, and to be able to put it in their mind that, well, how was I able to just shoot that deer at 450 yards, you know, and the 30 minutes at the range, and you know, a very, very beautiful rifle helps with all that. And so we do operate differently on people's skill level. You know, if you show up and you know nothing, absolutely nothing, I'm going to give you the whole rundown, and you're going to leave here thinking, I know I could do this by myself now, you know. And so, and if you're, you know, professional hunter yourself and you go all over the world killing everything, we can go to that skill level too. So
yeah, no, that's good.
It's all,
and it's not just hunting here. Like there's fishing, right?
Yeah.
You guys have guys that contact you that just want to come out for a day or 2 days or whatever, and the bird hunting side of things.
Yep. On the fishing side, I mean, I'm not saying this because I work here, but I have never fished as big fish in such ponds before than this place. So I will tell you, Larry does a great job on his fishing program. You know, you've got Camelot Bill, Florida strain largemouth in there. Generally more aggressive. They grow more than normal bass. And then when you top on top of that, rainbow trout in the winter, tilapia in the summer, the fish don't stop growing. And you've got structure out there, natural structure, and man-made structure out there as well. But when you can look down and that water clarity is, you know, 4 to 6 foot water clarity on a good day, and you can see that 8-pounder swimming down there.
Is it like cheating though, if you can see them?
I'm telling you what, you can. Those bass are getting so big and so smart. You can drop that lure right on his head and he'll just swim off. You know. And there's other times that, you know, one of the largest fish ever caught out here was by a little bitty kid on a Scooby-Doo rod. 12-inch worm. Larry was out there with him at the dock, and they threw it out there, and they put that pole down, and they were talking, and there goes the pole vibrating, and I guess Larry went over there with the little man, and they reeled it in, and it was a 13-something. So
that's
one
crazy.
One of the biggest fish that's been caught out of here. So
that's awesome. So there seems to be a pattern. You got the biggest animals, the biggest fish, and now we have the best beef. You know,
Larry is a wonderful businessman. Larry and Colette, they're fantastic on what they think about and then put it out and it actually be exactly how they imagined it. And when it came into, you know, the hunting side, I see what Larry does and his vision on things, and it just worked hand in hand with all of it. The fishing, hey, you know, 10, 15 years ago, he thought this would be a great bass lake, you know, and if you would look at this 20 years ago, there's not a lake here. So to see what he saw and to see it actually work to how it is fantastic on the business and management, wildlife side of everything.
And there's more than one. This is just the big pond back here behind the lodge.
This is the more scenic one for everybody, you know. I mean, we've got a 35-acre lake in the back of the high fence. we call it the Red Barn Lake. It's about a 15-acre, 20-acre pond, but it's so deep, and that is one of my favorites to fish because of the diverse floor on the bottom of that lake, and it just holds some really, really big fish for how small it is. And it's pretty cool, especially when you kind of get an idea of, hey, they're biting on this, they're feeding on this time, you know. They're very active at this morning at, you know, before it gets real hot. And you're able to take people that have never caught anything quite like that. Maybe deep sea fishing, but never done that. And to see them react that way, granted, we kind of, I wouldn't say take it for granted, but
y'all are spoiled out here.
Oh,
Big fish, man.
I'll tell you what. I remember how I was whenever I first saw, you know, fish or deer that size when I was a little bitty kid, and so I know what these kids feel. And even the adults, when the adults can look at their son and see them in a way that just they flourish and it's amazing. Those dads now pick up on that, like,
oh yeah,
we need to keep that going.
Yeah, for sure. I've been fishing for a long time, and I think I was in my late 20s before I ever caught an 8-pound fish, you know. Oh yeah. And when we started coming out here and filming and getting content and everything, and I went down there with a rod and reel, and they don't just bite anything, because it took a good 30 minutes for me to catch a fish. And but when I could see some of those suckers underneath the dock swimming around, like y'all been feeding them tortillas, man.
Yeah. So and that's another thing. If you were to walk down there and there'd be grass all over the place, and you can't even throw out your lure or whatever, it would discourage you. You know, you might know that there's big fish out there, but so in that sense, just the little things, even for us, Adam and I, if we can go get 8 hours out of the day to go treat, say, some of that water with water-safe chemical, animal-safe chemical, fish-safe chemical that pulls down that vegetation, or we may throw more vegetation over here for cover. There's little things like that people are like, oh, this is really cool that I'm able to see these things and everything.
And you can walk up and fish. It's not like you're having to wade through trees and brush to get in. Like, there is room. Y'all have manicured for places to fish. You can get in there, and there's a couple places with boats out here where y'all have already got them on a slide. You just slip them in and take off and go play around.
We got a big pontoon boat in the back. The only problem with that is it gets windy back there, so you better hold on. But on that sense, no, on the summer times, if we're out messing with the lakes and everything, I'll take that shredder, and just for people to go bank fish around the lake, I'll take that shredder, drop it down, so you can walk up and you're not losing lures or you're not, like you said, trying to move stuff just to be able to cast your rod.
Take some of the fun out of it.
As a fisherman, it takes a lot. You know, if you're fighting an hour just to fish for 30 minutes, you know, that's people don't want to do that. You know, especially if you're paying for the experience and everything. You want it to be top of the line. You want to get what you're going for.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it's great out here. People love it. People are always wanting to come out here because I think you can come fish just for like a half day if you wanted to. It's not like you're having to book a hunt to come fish. No, you can literally come out here just to fish.
Yeah, you don't have to stay the night. You can call us up summertime, say, hey, I'll be there at 6 in the morning at this lake, and you know, if we don't have hunters or anything and it is springtime, we'll roll you over to the high fence. Let you get on the boat. You know, it's a fun little time. A lot of people will pack a picnic and make a day out of it.
Oh, for sure.
Here. So riding around on the side-by-sides, there's not a lot of places that you can hop from lake to lake, and on your way from that lake to that lake, see buffalo. And, you know,
I didn't even think about that aspect.
You'd be fishing, and here comes a red stag walking right towards you. You know, there's things that are pretty ironic, pretty crazy that are out there that happen that you wouldn't get that other places. So
and that kind of rolls into some of the experiences for these kids that come out here with their fathers, or like we've had family groups come in here, and it's just like you hear the stories of Dad and Grandpa, like, wait till we get out there, you know, and you're gonna see some stuff you've never seen before, you know, and like that in itself is an experience of just getting to drive around and look at all the animals, you know.
And I'm getting excited just thinking about it, but that right there makes me remember whenever I took a young man on an archery hunt for a white-tailed doe. He was just shooting a doe, and he's been in he's been here a couple times, you know. He's seen some of the animals, but I remember his dad sitting behind me and him sitting next to me, and I mean, here comes some doe, and he's got that buck fever, and not 30 seconds later, a 500-inch 9-year-old bull walks 10 feet from us, and this kid can't hold his bow. And right there, it got me so excited, because he was not ready for that.
Yeah.
He was ready for his little deer to come out, and that antler almost coming inside the blind, and that bull didn't even know we were there.
Yeah.
But it was just watching that. You'll never know what's going to walk in.
Yeah,
And it gets those guys really, really juiced up when they don't know what's going to walk in.
Yeah.
And tying into that, I mean, we get a lot of clients that come out here that, what do you got? That want to shop, you know?
Yeah.
So they may go up, and we may get a rifle, and maybe this guy's a long-range shooter, and he likes to shoot long-range. We've got plenty of blinds for that, specific blinds for that, and we'll go sit up in those blinds, and, you know, he may be one of those guys that wants to shoot that whitetail at 600 yards, hit that whitetail, boom, you know, and run over, and he may want to slam a fallow, you know? So it's all cool, especially when you can get people to do things that they wouldn't do on their own.
Yeah,
with your
for sure.
skill set.
Yep.
So whether it's your rifle, whether it's, you know, adjusting your scope for that long range shot, when you show up, you need to be able to squeeze that trigger, and that's it.
And so there's been times even when guys have brought a rifle, their rifle that they're going to use, because it's their rifle, right? I got to kill this animal with my rifle.
Oh, yeah.
And it never fails. Something happens. Like, I don't remember where exactly we were at, but he got out of the Ranger and turned, and the buckle broke off of the stock that was holding the sling there. Mm-hmm. Rifle hit the ground right on top of the scope.
Yep.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yep.
That's what he said.
Yep.
We went and shot. That deer was like,
Yep.
what was that? Went right back
yeah.
to feeding, you know? And then come to find out, we took him to the range, shot it. It was 9 inches high. Couldn't get the scope to adjust at all. Ended up having to grab another rifle.
Yep.
So thankfully you had one here. You know?
Oh, yeah. And things like that. If you want to bring your own equipment and everything, I can work with you on anything. If you want to bring your top of the line, you know, you've got so much money in this rifle, yeah. If you're that skill level there, you probably know what you're doing to my extent.
Yep.
All the way to people who still have the gun in the box and the scope in the box and say, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'll throw it on there before a hunt. We'll take an hour, 30 minutes, whatever it takes. I'll take that scope, throw it on that gun.
Yeah, because the worst thing that happens is sometimes it's they don't want to be a burden on you guys,
Right.
and because they don't want you to have to shoot their gun, but they'll have bought a brand new gun, they went and put a brand new scope on it, and they put the bore sight laser bullet. You know what I'm talking about. You and I both had to deal with this.
Oh, yeah.
Put the bullet in there, you get the crosshairs to line up on the laser on paper. That's not going to cut it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the industry, marketing, has sold that idea to people, and they go out and they go hunting, and they can't figure out why they hit a deer. So it's good that you guys take the time to, like, all things are welcome, right? But let's just make sure and go shoot this gun real quick before we go out there and hit the field.
Absolutely. I always tell people, you know, you may have had that gun in the safe for 3 years. I'm still going to shoot it. You know, anytime I move my gun, if it goes in my truck, whatever, I'm making sure that zero's on, you know, and
You just never know.
and you don't know if somebody else touched it, if when you put it on the seat, did the
Did it
seat
roll?
the dial,
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
So and going back to what you said before, if you have a sentimental rifle, say your grandfather's, you know, whatever, 30-06, and you want to shoot a deer, you know, there's limitations to certain guns, of course, whether it's caliber size, you know, stopping power, accuracy. Those all favor in if you do want to bring your own rifle and everything. You know, if you bring your dad's 270 and you can only shoot about 150 yards with it because that scope's old, I'm gonna convince you and tell you otherwise to use a different rifle if we're going after a Neil guy.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so things like that.
We were talking about Neil Guy earlier, and they're like the ghosts out here, man. Like even when I'm trying to chase them down to get photos of them, they give you half a second if they see a two-legged creature walking through the woods. They don't want nothing.
Or wheels.
Or wheels, yeah.
You know, and up to that, we get a lot of guys that come out here that, you know, that have shot everything out here or whatever, and just people that really want to get down nitty-gritty and really spot and stalk or get after and really hunt your tail off physically as a nilgai.
Yeah,
they, I mean, they're one of that gray ghost, you know.
Yeah, they can disappear so fast.
They will disappear so quick, and so that is one animal that really entices really avid hunters. Is that nilgai.
Yeah.
So
and y'all have got a herd of them out here.
And we got a ton.
Some of them it's going to be a couple of years, but that's good because you got to keep these herds going.
Oh yeah.
But there are some toads running around.
And everyone always laughs at us whenever we say, you know, minimum 30 cow, you know, and they're like, you know, why? Well, out of all the other animals, nilgai has elastic skin. So as soon as that bullet goes through that skin, it closes back up. So if you don't watch that guy drop, or, you know, if you don't see him roll over, you might be in some trouble, you know.
Send another one.
He is not going to bleed.
Yes.
If he bleeds, you are cutting his hide, you know, long ways. It's not really a bullet hole. So they're tough animals when it comes to that. Not just getting on them, but actually finishing the job.
Tracking
is a hard, you know.
They're very much like Aoudad too.
Yep.
You can shoot an Aoudad, and he can have an entry. He might not have an exit just because of the amount of mass on the inside of those guys.
They're dense.
Yeah,
very, very dense.
They run off. They're 100% dead. 50 yards from you.
Yep.
If you didn't see where he went down, there is no blood trail. Like you guys sometimes literally have to track mud and hooves to get in on some of these animals when they don't have an exit wound.
And that's another, when you talk about, you know, shot placement and things like that, there's certain parts of the ranch that, you know, this would be a great spot for him to go down. You know?
That's where he's not going to go down.
No, and you know, that time where you're, you know, 200 yards from a 20-foot creek, he happens to find that creek, you know. So shot placement and where is really crucial when you're talking about, you know, if you're pulling 1,500-pound animal out of a 20-foot creek, you need some equipment. Well, can you even get it in there? You know, so that's a thing when we talk about the nilgai and how tough and everything they are. Shot placement is key. If he's in some nasty stuff, you know, there's shots that you would never shoot a whitetail like that, but for that animal, you know, you would have to. So there's different things on that, but.
And then even when it goes into, so say we're talking about different species of animals that we're hunting, you guys also know that this is a trophy, right? So sometimes they see y'all taking extra care of how you get that animal onto the Ranger or into the bucket of a tractor. It's because some hides are very, very sensitive, and once you start dragging them across the brush, you're losing a lot of that. But that's all behind the scenes stuff that nobody thinks about. It's just you guys do this naturally because you know. And then some people are like, "Well, hurry up and grab that thing. I want to take a picture." And you're trying to be courteous. But you're like, let us get this guy a certain way for you real quick so we don't ruin anything, because this is your animal. And if we can keep him in pristine shape all the way to the taxidermist, because y'all still got to cut him up. And y'all take your time doing that too, you know. Which is a whole nother process, you know.
On a thing like that, I got a small story on that. I remember it was a nilgai, and I mean, I remember this because I opened him up. But first shot was a beautiful heart shot. Next one was a little high lung shot whenever he was running away. Both rounds should have put him down right there, but it did not. And he ran and fell into a creek and actually died in that.